And against? Carried. Thank you. Right, the next one is the approval of the modifications to Auckland Transport Statement of Intent, and so Claire is going to come up and lead this off, and Dean will jump alongside. And you'll see there's some changes in the recommendations. Just want to acknowledge the work done by council staff and Auckland Transport to nut out the issue in regards to passenger numbers. So thank you for that. So Claire, all yours.
Thank you. Tēnā koutou katoa. So this report recommends your approval of modifications to Auckland Transport's 2024 to 27 Statement of Intent. The proposed modified SOI is in response to a governing body's resolution in October, which acknowledged that the funding decisions announced in September in the National Land Transport Plan significantly reduced the funding available to Council and Auckland Transport. And at that committee, we also agreed a new capital investment plan and budget. The modified SOI accurately reflects these changes. You will see up there some revised resolutions. And this is because at the time that we had to provide the report to the committee, it was also the same day that the Auckland Transport SOI report went to the Auckland Transport Board, and we had a few questions. We were unable to sort of fully understand how some of that patronage boarding target had been reduced. Pleased to say that over the last week we've had an opportunity to meet and have those conversations, and we've agreed on a revised target sooner than expected. We are all in agreement that the rail network rebuild program will result in a reduction of approximately 1.2 million passengers on the rail lines, and that the AT's SOI will be adjusted accordingly to reflect that. What we also have under the current SOI was that there were a number of unplanned disruptions which resulted in a reduction of about 540,000 passengers. So we will treat those reductions as a variance, and that will be reported through in the quarterly reporting. So with that update in mind, we recommend that this SOI is approved, and we're here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. You got anything to add, Dean?
No, I'm just happy to take questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, questions. So kicking off with the Mayor.
Thanks for the catch-up. I'm just interested to know if we could be a bit more ambitious about things like dynamic lanes and optimisation. Well, the presentation says you're only doing 3 this year and 4 next year. Is there a way we can wind that up a bit?
Yeah, look, in terms of the modification of the Statement of Intent, we haven't considered modifying those targets. That's not what's before us in terms of a decision right now. Having said that, we're always looking to exceed our targets, so my assurance is we'll continue to focus on delivering as many as we can in the timeframes and with the funding that we have.
Thanks, Dean. And yeah, just a reminder that this is not about diving back into the existing SOI. This is the stuff that we talked about from the funding decisions. I know that maybe Claire's touched on it, but the only changes we're seeking to the existing SOI around public transport boardings, which you saw a modified resolution there, around fare box recovery to reflect the reduced number of boardings, that key assets in a moderate or better condition and percentage of capital budget invested. So those are the only changes. All other elements of the SOI remain the same. The board, maybe I'm giving the feedback I should have given at the beginning, sorry, Chair. The board did debate whether or not, given our inability to deliver on elements of the Statement of Intent that are important to the public, and the CCO review and some of the public debate around that, whether we should be considering whether or not to adjust our target for trust and confidence, but we have decided that we would leave that exactly where it was on the basis that we are determined to continue to build trust and confidence. So, irrespective of these changes and the impacts on the public, we remain determined to continue to lift trust and confidence. So that was the only recommendation or one other area that we considered that is not, we're not seeking change for, but I wanted to highlight it just for the purposes of demonstrating our commitment.
Cool, thank you. Richard?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe it is for the AT update, but just on the, obviously it looks like we're reducing the target if you don't have the context that the rail is closed, so you can't get those people on a train, that there is none. Are there ways to also represent this around the daily targets when things are open? Because I think what's happening is we've got an average that's being pulled down by closed days as part of the problem. So it looks like we're reducing our target as in like daily people, but it's just reducing people jumping on trains that aren't moving. Like it's an obvious reason you have to do this, but it might not necessarily tell the whole story.
It's not intended to tell the whole story, in fairness, Councillor. Our commitment is to deliver a certain patronage growth across the year, and we know there's a number of unders and overs in that. We try to forecast it, and we know that there are things that affect that patronage on the go. It might be in the course of an unplanned disruption or an unplanned cancellation, which is what I think you're referring to. So we have factored some of that in terms of our patronage forecast. What we didn't factor in, which is the only reason we've gone for an adjustment, is the extended block of line. Otherwise, we do factor in unders and overs, and then we remain very determined. Look, even I think last year, and Stacey will correct me, and maybe she can do so when she comes up later on, we had 88 million, and this year we're targeting 97 million. So, look, that's still a 10% increase, or between 10 and 15% increase. So it's still a big lift on what we achieved last year.
Thanks. Shane?
Thank you, Chair. Just so that I'm clear, so where that resolution says B, due to unplanned rail closures and partial closures by Kiwi Rail, I'm just a little bit confused because we're expecting the fare box recovery rate and the fares to have an impact on our targets as well.
Yes, so look, there's two things going on here, and I'll just unpack that a little bit if that's okay. So if we looked at it in the round, if we annualised it, it's probably at 1.7 million reduction in passenger trips on rail. But that's been split between what's already happened, which was closures greater than what we forecast, plus what we're forecasting in the future based on the plan you just heard. So that we've got a backcast and we've got a forecast. We do know that that will impact, and that adds up to 1.7 or thereabouts. And we do know that that will impact fare box recovery. And we've made an adjustment for that. That's why in here you'll see it goes from 35% to 34%.
Yeah, just because I want to get our resolution accurate, Chair. If it's just about Kiwi Rail's network rebuild, that's fine. But if we're expecting it to go down by that amount, not just because of the rebuild, but because of prices going up, I would want that in a resolution. So is that accurate or not accurate?
Can I clarify? The reduction in fare box recovery is not, none of these have got anything to do with fare increases. This is all about what we're anticipating the rail network to be available for, the impact on availability for people to actually jump on and jump off the train and pay.
I think I got you. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, any further questions on this? Perfect. Oh, thank you, team. Nice work to get that alignment. Well done. Any discussion, debate? None? Oh, we better move it. I'll move it. Is there a seconder? And Leslie will second. No debate. Those in favour say aye. And against, carried. We're going to break for lunch. And because I'm doubting we'll get through the Auckland Transport update within 5 minutes. Much as I'd love to. and much as Dean would love to. But we'll break for lunch and we'll be back here at past, and there is a light snack.
It's 12:43 now.
Oh, it's 12:43. There you go. Look at the clock's wrong here. So 20 past. How's that?